channel. This is Master Gaming, and today we have another werewolf video for you. I know a lot of you have been asking for another werewolf build, and here it is, guys. Now I'm not too sure why, but I do have a glitch going on that my achievements keep on popping up for champion points. Oh, they've stopped. Perfect. As you can see, we have amazing stats here. We're actually the werewolf pack leader, and we are a dark elf running 64 points into stamina. The food we're running is the increase all primary stats. That comes from the tri-stat food, any tri-stat food you can find. I don't know why it says max health 0, max mag and stam 0, but it increases it by about 3.5k each. Now, as you can see, our stats are brilliant. We've got 18k magicka, 23,000 health, 38,000 maximum stamina. Our recoveries are a little bit low, but that's fine. We've got 5.8k weapon damage with 31% weapon critical and 28k spell and 25k physical resistance with 2,811 critical resistances. Now, as you can see, again, we've got an original name. We've got Wolfman. This build is going to be amazing for Battlegrounds and for Cyrodiil and for all you Imperial City buffs out there who just love to slap about with some werewolves. Now just take a look at those stats. Those stats are brilliant. But when we go into the gear, you will see that those stats only get improved by the sets that I'm wearing. But first, before I take you into the sets, let's mix things up. Let's make you wait a little bit. Let's go on to the skills. Now, of course, we all know what skills werewolves are running. We're running Hircine's Fortitude, that's the main heal. We're running Deafening Roar. What this does is it reduces the resistances of the enemies and reduces their damage done. Plus, while slotted, you get an extra bit of weapon critical. Howl of Agony, this is our main burst, because what you do is you cast this and it hits for a massive 8,000 in PvP. Plus, it does even more damage when enemies are feared or they're in front of you facing you, so this ability can be used quite a lot, and it's got a relatively low cost, meaning we can use this ability a lot. Claws of Life, this is our main dot heal, but it also does a lot of damage in the dots. You heal for 102% of the damage over time damage caused, as well as the enemies being hit with a diseased status effect. Plus, it hits very hard, 13,000 damage, and then it hits for another 12.3 over 10 seconds. That's a lot of damage. Now, on our final ability, we're running Feral Pounce. I do apologise, these are all out of order. My werewolf did have a couple of glitches when I was making it, so it's going to be out of order, but run this in any order you wish. This is our gap closer. Plus, as well, when you cast this ability again after 5 seconds of casting it, it turns it into an execute, meaning you do a lot more damage the lower their health. Plus, you get stamina per enemy hit with this attack, meaning you also get an extra 1 second in werewolf form. And as you can see, we are the pack leader, which increases our maximum stamina by 30%. We take 10% less damage, and we have 2 direwolves, and we also grant myself and nearby allies with minor courage, which increases their weapon and spell damage by 215. Also, my stamina recovery is increased just for having this slotted. If we go to the werewolf passives, you will see that this ability, this werewolf is brilliant. You've got increased movement speed, and it increases the amount of stamina your heavy attacks restore. You've got, when you deal damage, your transformation is increased by 4 seconds. This effect can occur every 5 seconds. So every 5 seconds, you're only losing 1 second of your werewolf transformation due to the loss. But that can be made up by just doing damage with your Feral Pounce, so you can stay in werewolf form a lot. This just means you can infect other players. While you're in werewolf form, your weapon damage is increased by 18% and increases your spell and physical resistance by 10,000. This means with a werewolf you can easily hit resistance cap, no problem. Now next up we've got Call of the Pack. Now this ability is brilliant, it just means we can infinitely stay at werewolf form. Reduces the cost of remaining in your werewolf transformation by 20% for each transformed werewolf or direwolf in your group. Now, if you remember, Pack Leader gives you 2 direwolves, meaning you have 60% reduced cost of remaining in werewolf. This means that you can stay as a werewolf for as long as possible. When you see people running around Battlegrounds with infinite werewolf, this is what they're doing. They have Call of the Pack and they are a pack leader. or they've got friends who are werewolves as well. This means that they do not come out of werewolf, and this is what you need. Now, I'm actually going to come out of werewolf form, and I'm going to show you what I'm running on my templar bar. Because I am a templar for this, and that's purely because of the passive in Aedric Spear, which increases your weapon damage by 6% and gives you 2.6k spell resistance. It's a brilliant passive, and it's something very nice. I would go Sork, but that's very basic for werewolves. I want to make it so that you can have a class that can do a lot of damage outside of werewolf form that's very simple to play. Just for having an ability slotted, you get an extra critical damage, and with the raw weapon damage we have as well, the abilities hit very hard. On my back bar, I have not configured it, but I am running the Master's Bow. You just slap on Poison Inject. The back bar isn't really too relevant, as I'm just trying to demonstrate the werewolf build element of this build video. Next week I'll be posting another video completely unrelated to this, so you will not actually see my Templar build. However, I will post a Templar build at a later date when I can think of one that would work very well in Cyrodiil and Imperial City and Battlegrounds. For our first ability, we've got Biting Jabs. Everyone knows what this does. It's just jab, 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 the most toxic ability in the game. We've got Power of the Light. This is your main burst. You put this on the enemy every 6 seconds, and all the damage you do is amplified and then released back onto them, giving you a nice juicy bit of burst damage. Camo Hunter. This is a Fighter's Guild ability that we have slotted just to increase our weapon damage. What this does is if you do an attack from an enemy from behind, you increase your damage done by 5%. This used to be 10%, however due to the nerfs in the markarth patch, it's now 5%. Plus as well you get a weapon critical rating just for having it slotted. Next up we've got Rally. This gives you major brutality, and it gives you stamina recovery, as well as an increased heal for the longer the ability is up. This is your main burst heal. It's a very nice ability. And next up we've got Turn Evil. Now Turn Evil is a hidden gem. Not a lot of people know about this. What this ability does is not only does it reduce your damage taken by 5% and increase your stamina recovery, but it also fears the enemies in the very large radius it has. This means anybody who comes near you will be instantly stunned. It means you don't need to do it from range and then have a gap closer. This ability allows you to just stun them very close range and just kill them. That's why I like this ability. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, let's head into the inventory and I can show you what I'm running. I'm running the Witch Knight set. Now, you've seen me use this in my previous videos, if you do watch my videos, and as you can see, this set is amazing. 129 weapon damage, 129 weapon damage, 129 weapon damage, and increases your weapon damage by 369 against enemies inflicted with a poison damage effect. Now I know what you're thinking, oh, the werewolf only does disease damage. You are right, however, the werewolf also takes into account your main weapon that you cast the ability on, meaning it also triggers these, the crown lethal poisons. You can run normal double dot poisons, doesn't really matter as long as they do this. 20% of the time on light and heavy attacks or abilities, this procs, meaning every 1 in 5 light attacks, you are going to be triggering the increased damage done. And this lasts for quite a while, so you can do that increased damage. Now this set may not work in the way you want to, but it does hit very hard if used right. You just need to time everything right. It's all about timing in PvP. And of course we've got the Master Spell on the back bar just so that if we are in our Templar form we can do a lot of damage. For the head we're running New Moon Acolyte, Impenetrable, Heavy with a maximum stamina enchant. New Moon Acolyte adds weapon critical, spell critical, weapon and spell damage, 1.5k physical and spell pen, and on the 5-piece adds 401 weapon and spell damage, but increases the cost of your active abilities by 5%. On the chest piece we're running a Tri-Stack Glyph, Infused, Heavy New Moon Acolyte Cuirass, which does the exact same thing. We're running 1-piece Belorg Arm Cops in Medium, Maximum Stamina and Impenetrable, which increases our weapon and spell damage by 129. We're running the Witch Knight Belt just to complete our 5-piece, but as you'll see soon, in Divines with Max Stam. We're running New Moon Acolyte Gauntlets in Heavy with Divines and Maximum Stamina. Pneumonacolite Greaves in Infused, multi-effect enchantment, which is the Hacky Joe, which is from the Imperial City vendors, which crafts prismatic glyphs. These actually cost 5,000 Telvar, or on the guild store the average is about 10,000. And finally we're running Pneumonacolite Sabatons with Divines and maximum stamina. Now onto the jewellery. We've got the Talk of Tonal Constancy. This is brilliant. Infused with a weapon damage glyph, as well as while your stamina is less than 50%, you increase your mag recovery by 450. While your magicka is less than 50%, you increase your stamina recovery by 450. This means that no matter what you do, you will always get one of the resources back faster than the other, because you're constantly using abilities. And we have two other Witch Knight rings. One is infused with a weapon damage glyph, and one is robust with a weapon damage glyph, because we do want to maintain our maximum stamina. We don't need to drive up our weapon damage that much, we already do enough. Now on to the champion points. On the tower, we're running 50 points into Warlord. On the lover, we're running 75 points into Mooncarth, 50 points into Healthy, and 50 points into Tenacity, with 45 points into Tumbling in the Shadow Mundus tree. In the Apprentice, we're running 10 into Blessed just to drive up our healing numbers, 20 points into Physical Weapon Expert in the Atronach, 60 points into Master at Arms, and in the Ritual, we are running 30 points into Thaumaturge, 60 points into Precise Strikes, 40 points into Piercing, and 50 points into Mighty. Now on to the red, we're going on to the Steed first. We've got 60 points into Ironclad, 50 points into Resistant, because we don't actually need much impenetrable gear due to the base amount that was introduced in Greymore of 1,350, so this makes it so that we can add an extra 1.2k to that, driving our critical resistance to about 2.5k, which is what people used to be having before the patch. We've got 50 points into Thick Skinned in the Lady Tree, 60 points into Hardy, and 50 points into Elemental Defender. These are very important as these reduce the damage you take, so you really do need to put points into them. And that right there, guys, is it. For those of you wondering, this is the Hunter's Glade house. What this does is this means you can stay in werewolf form permanently, so if you ever have any dueling competitions, try and suggest that you do it here so you can get an extra bit of werewolf time and nobody will be none the wiser. So that is the end of the video, guys. I do just want to say before the video ends that I've noticed that over 98% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel. Now, I'm not the sort of YouTuber to be asking people for subscribers. However, if you do like my content and you are watching, it doesn't cost anything to just tap the subscribe button. Even turn off notifications if you don't want to see my annoying pop-ups. But at the end of the day, just that one little button tap does mean the world to me, and it really does help me know that you guys are actually watching my content and understanding it to the point that you feel like you're able to press subscribe. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. It's going to be another very nice video next week. I've got plans, and these plans are going to hit very, very hard. I hope I've got you all excited. I will put the character sheet up on the screen now, and that's the end of the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.